the biggest struggle was coming out of that, though. That's the thing that
embracing who you are,
Well,
what you like, when...
Like I was talking about, you develop a false self. You have to kill that false self before you can bring out the true you. And I think my biggest struggle to start with was, how do I know the difference? So my dad was the one that always took me out. I used to ride around the golf course with him all the time. I used to throw a football with my dad all the time, go out, go swimming, go fishing. My dad was just the basis of my raising, with his values and morals, and he is pretty hard on himself and other people. He has high standards. Before I do too. Sometimes a pain, but you know, just embrace it, I guess.
Yeah.
Just probably about a month and a half ago, I think I would have had a lot more words to say about my dad, because that was a big part of what was ruling my everyday life. I have recently pulled myself out of that. I go through phases with it all the time. My mom was the passive mother, which I have yet to read the feminine version of this guy's book. So I have yet to see all the ways that a mother affects her daughter's life and the way her daughter looks at herself. So I don't have a whole lot to say about that yet. One day I will. Probably sometime soon.
When did you realize you needed more feminine side?
I don't know that it was ever something that I thought I needed more of. It was eventually just something that I thought I wanted a little more of. But that also started when I began conforming in about middle school, high school. I believe that through most of my childhood, I managed to stay myself. My imaginative, very quirky, weird, somewhat awkward, shy self. And then in high school, I was like, I gotta get out there. I gotta talk to more people. I gotta fit in better. So I conformed, like a lot of kids do. When I got out of high school, I noticed it immediately, and I've been dragging myself out of that ever since. It's a much longer process than you could possibly think. So I don't know why, I just suddenly started making small talk. I'd sit next to somebody instead of sitting by myself and make small talk, and it wasn't hard, but I think the reason why it wasn't hard is because I was still comfortable in myself and who I was at that time. I mean, like your base traits, what you believe in, what you find funny, things like that. I didn't question about those. I was just thinking, man, I guess I could talk to some more people. Like that was about it. But then after I started talking to more people, that's where the struggle hit. The struggle was accepting yourself while sharing yourself, or after sharing yourself, you start questioning why this guy broke up with me, or why these people no longer talk to me, or things that shouldn't bother you. So when I said surround yourself with people you want to be surrounded by, people said, they'll say things like, well, she neglected me, or like they're not talking to me. And I said, well, then they don't value you for who you are enough to treat you the way you should be, and you don't need them in your life because of that. It is not you. It's the whole dynamic. You can hardly even blame them because they're just who they are.
There's something you just touched on, especially when I found it actually for me. I always heard people tell me, why are you always quiet? Why?
Making it sound almost like it's a bad thing?
Yes. Now, there are times when all I need is just being quiet. Like, either I'm in my head, I'm thinking, or so, and at some point when things start going wrong in life, let's say you have a breakup, or life happens, and then you start going back to the personality. What if I if I had this personality, maybe things could have been different. The boyfriend says you don't go out often, or you don't like this kind of music. I had a person tell me your music is so depressing. I was like, this music to me, it's dope.
Yeah, you don't.
So like, you think this is so depressing, but for me it is actually like a bright of life. So tell me about that. How was your experience?
I think that is probably where I did start conforming. That was the struggle in high school, was starting to think, oh, well, I should be like this and I should be like that because everybody else is like this and like that, and that's what they're going to want to hang out with. The biggest struggle was coming out of that, though. That's the thing that
embracing who you are,
well,
what you like, when...
I was talking about, you develop a false self. You have to kill that false self before you can bring out the true you. And I think my biggest struggle to start with was, how do I know the difference? How do I tell? How do I just started walking a lot. I walked a lot in high school anyway, but that was more for emotional stability, because I went through a lot of heartache in high school. I found way deeper emotions than any 14-year-old should, and they pretty much imprisoned me kind of for a while, and walking was the one way that I got out of it briefly.
I like the way you put it. It's just that a lot of people develop their false selves. They develop a personality or a profile that they think this is what the world needs, what my father needs to see, my community and my friends. Sometimes it's the people we fall in love with. And until the same thing, until in my deepest heart, I really looked hard. What are the things that I do? If I was by myself in the house, my roommates, they say, the house is almost dark because I don't like too much light. It's the background light, there's soft music, quietness. I used to fight with my brother. He would open all the windows, and when he comes back, I've already closed them. It's like, who did this? So those little things I had to, okay, this is just me.